Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Ling Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. In Los Angeles, 25 sheriff deputy recruits were injured during a formation run. The vehicle that plowed into them was driving on the wrong side of the road. This week, U.S. senators and representatives are making their nominations for caucus leadership positions. One California representative is slated to become the next Speaker of the House. Thieves in San Francisco recently targeted 2 photographers. Although robbers left empty-handed, many photographers now say they plan to avoid the city. 25 recruits from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department were injured in an accident this morning. Most sustained minor to moderate injuries, but some are in critical condition. Here's NTD's Jackie Rios with the story.
75 recruits from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department were running in formation this morning when an SUV crashed into the group. 25 other recruits were injured. A driver was driving the wrong way and struck the recruits. The crash occurred just before 6:30 in suburban Whittier, where a training academy is located. According to Sheriff Alex Villanueva, 4 had moderate injuries and 16 with minor injuries. The driver was among those with minor injuries.
They were running in formation heading northbound on Mills Road north of Telegraph when a vehicle that was traveling southbound on Mills veered into the northbound lanes and struck the formation.
The car with severe front end damage straddled a toppled pole on a sidewalk. Authorities say the SUV struck a light pole, which saved the recruits' lives. The street is in a 25 miles per hour speed limit area. A large gathering of firefighters and ambulances responded to the scene, as well as numerous individuals nearby in uniform workout clothes. The driver was identified as a 22-year-old Hispanic man from suburban Diamond Bar, but his name was not revealed.
The driver was transported to local hospital. They were negative on a field sobriety test and blew a 0.0 on the breathalyzer. So the cause of the accident, motive, anything is unknown at this time.
NTD spoke to local residents, and they said accidents are common in the area.
Usually on their cell phones. It doesn't have to be necessarily speeding, but on their cell phones, not paying attention. This is just a tragedy. I feel for it. This is why I came down here, because I was with Whittier PD for 6 years as a volunteer patrol officer, and it just touched my heart. I don't know, what do you say to a tragedy like this? I mean, a lot of these young boys are going to be affected, their lives affected.
The Sheriff's Department says the injuries range from head trauma and broken bones to loss of limbs. At least 1 recruit is on a ventilator. Another resident says people tend to race cars on the streets in this area where several accidents have occurred.
Right here on Mills, there is a lot of racing, and it's usually in the nights, the weekends, but I would believe it happens during the day. But it's dangerous here. We have a school here, we have people that live in the condos, we have the fire department, and I really hope, I know a lot of the neighbors here hope that they put another signal, maybe some speed bumps.
Authorities said the California Highway Patrol is handling the traffic portion of the investigation. The driver was cooperating with investigators. All possibilities, ranging from an intentional act to impaired driving, will be investigated. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Following the midterm elections, Republicans ended up flipping the House majority, but falling short by 1 seat in the Senate. This week, nominations for leadership are taking place, and 1 California representative is slated to become the new House Speaker.
This week, Republicans are set to vote for their caucus leadership in both congressional houses. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell on Wednesday got re-elected as Senate Minority Leader. This was after Florida Senator Rick Scott said he will be challenging McConnell for the seat. Scott said he was taking on McConnell because he and other leaders have refused to articulate what Republicans would do if they were placed back in charge of Congress. Meanwhile, in the House, California Representative Kevin McCarthy was nominated on Tuesday as Speaker of the House. The vote happened during a closed-door meeting on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. 188 Republicans voted in favor of McCarthy, while 31 were opposed. The vote for Speaker of the House must be voted for by a full canvass of the House of Representatives. This means that McCarthy will still need to convince the handful of Republicans to give him their votes. Senate Republicans were set to vote on leadership this week, and the official vote for Speaker of the House won't take place until January 3rd. The next Congress is set to start in January 2023.
3 Olympic medals belonging to a women volleyball team member were stolen. This is the second time this year that an Olympic medal has been stolen in Orange County.
According to the Orange County Sheriff's Department, 3 Olympic medals were stolen on October 19th from a home in Laguna Hills. The 3 medals belong to a U.S. women's volleyball team player. They were temporarily stored in a safe in the home. The robbery is still under investigation. It's the second time this year that a medal has been stolen in Orange County. Authorities said that the first time happened in May. According to authorities, volleyball Olympian Jordan Poulter reported her 2020 gold medal was stolen from her car in a parking garage in Anaheim. Anaheim barbershop owners found the medal in a discarded bag. Police were later able to arrest a suspect.
After videos showing perpetrators trying to rob a photographer in San Francisco, many photographers now say they don't plan on filming in the city anymore. At least 2 photographers had an incident with robbers in San Francisco recently. NTD's David Lam has more.
Photographers often carry expensive equipment for photo shoots with thousands of dollars of gear. Now, one photographer was doing a wedding photo shoot on November 9th when 2 thugs tried to rob him at the Palace of Fine Arts, a popular tourist and scenic location in San Francisco. Asian Crime Report, who obtained the video, said it was a, quote, very dangerous situation. It's lawless with no end in sight. Fully covered in a hoodie and mask, the thugs hit the Asian photographer in the head multiple times at gunpoint. The victim told Asian Crime Report that the perpetrators were black. They fled to a light-colored getaway car parked in the middle of the street empty-handed. The photographer said he wanted to protect the wedding photos he took of the couple, and that's why he stayed strong and resisted. Another media outlet also reported a camera bag robbery on the same day at the same location. Many photographers told Asian Crime Report that most of them don't plan on shooting in San Francisco anymore, or will bring security or guns if they do so. According to the most recent crime data from SFPD, there's been a 5% increase in robberies this year compared to last year, and nearly a 10% increase in assault. David Lam, NCD News, California.
A man in Riverside County was sentenced to prison for stealing over $6 million in COVID-19 relief loans. The money was intended for businesses recovering from the economic losses from the pandemic.
A Corona man was sentenced on Monday to 8.5 years in federal prison for stealing more than $6.6 million in Paycheck Protection Program and economic injury disaster loan funds intended for business owners impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. U.S. District Judge Percy Anderson sentenced 39-year-old Mohammed Noor Ul-Ain Atta for fraud and laundering his illegal proceeds into financial instruments and real property in Pakistan. The judge ordered Atta to pay over $6.6 million in restitution. In a statement, Judge Anderson said, "It's important that the sentence imposed today sends the message that there are consequences for defrauding federal relief programs." From March through July 2020, Atta submitted 11 fraudulent loan applications for 7 of his shell companies. Atta also submitted false tax and payroll documentation in support of his loan applications. Atta pleaded guilty on August 2nd to 1 count of wire fraud and 1 count of money laundering.
Governor Gavin Newsom's wife, Jennifer Siebel Newsom, testified against Harvey Weinstein in a recent trial. Siebel Newsom is now the 4th woman to testify, saying Weinstein has sexually assaulted them.
Jennifer Siebel Newsom told jurors during the November 14th trial that she met Harvey Weinstein at the Toronto Film Festival back in September 2005. Siebel Newsom testified that she was a powerless actress at the time, and Weinstein brought the opportunity of success. She said under questioning by Deputy District Attorney Marlene Martinez, "He was like the kingmaker. He was like the top of the industry. I was a working class actress. I had little roles." Becoming emotional, she told jurors that, quote, he's wearing a suit and a blue tie, and he's staring at me, and that Weinstein was responsible for sexually assaulting her. Siebel Newsom was referred to in court only as Jane Doe number 4, but has been publicly identified by her attorney. One of Weinstein's attorneys, Mark Worksman, countered that these claims were entirely false and Weinstein was not guilty of any charges. Worksman told jurors that Weinstein's accusers were women who willingly played the game by the rules applied back then. Now they claim they were raped and sexually assaulted. Weinstein was extradited from New York. He was convicted of raping an aspiring actress and of criminal sex acts against a former production assistant.
We are going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. The Los Angeles City Council racism scandal has quieted down, but one veteran journalist says the incident sheds light on the bigger issue of corruption. Thousands of UC workers went on strike on Monday, demanding better working conditions. The UC president says they have reached an agreement with the workers on key issues. And one Southern California school district was recognized as the best district in the state. Its students ranked number 1 in standardized testing. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, Liang Zhang. The Los Angeles City Council racism scandal has quieted down, but one veteran journalist reflected on the incident, saying corruption is the bigger problem.
Rick Reef, a veteran journalist, explained to California Insider's C-Mac Karami what details were left out in the Los Angeles City Council racism scandal.
What the media has missed here, I think, there's been very little comment about this is, if you want to make it about racial hatred, you can, because that's a huge element of the story. But there's a bigger element, which is corruption, political corruption.
4 officials, 3 being council members, were caught making racist remarks from a year ago in a leaked audio recording before the elections this year. Council President Nuri Martinez resigned, while the public protested for the other 2 to step down.
Political corruption, first of all, because they were meeting. This was a meeting that was hosted by the Labor Federation, the Los Angeles Labor Federation, which is a umbrella group for all of the unions, including the public employee unions, especially the public employee unions.
The Labor Federation controls the city of Los Angeles. The meeting the officials had was supposed to be about redistricting, a process that's meant to be transparent.
The fine print, of course, is that the final decision is still made by the city council. Okay, so they go through, as you're suggesting, they have this process. It sounds like it's open, it's democratic. And so they do the districts. But then it goes for a little fine tuning back to the council. And so then you have these 3 council members who have a lot of clout, or meeting in secret with the Labor Federation this is how we're really going to divvy up the pie.
Reef says there's corruption on 2 levels, the overarching power of the public employee union and the subversion of the democratic process.
Typically hear from the left all the talk about voter suppression. They're trying to stop people from voting. And yet here are very liberal politicians getting together to talk about basically how do we help, how do we give these people more of a say and these people less of a say in the democratic process. So there's a lot of hypocrisy. And while, again, just to come full circle here, the comments are deplorable, I find the corruption an even more interesting story.
Reef says there isn't much coverage on the corruption side because the media is now too motivated by the quick and easy attention-grabbing events rather than taking an important issue and making it interesting for people.
To watch the full program, find California Insider on YouTube or Epic TV on the Epic Times website. Thousands of UC workers strike on Monday for higher wages and a better working environment. Their demands include higher salaries, greater annual raises, free public transit passes, improved child care benefits, and a greater job security.
Thousands of workers at the 10 University of California campuses went on strike on Monday. The 48,000 workers involved in the strike included postdoctoral scholars, academic researchers, graduate student researchers, teaching assistants, readers, and tutors. Union leaders said that it is the largest academic worker strike in U.S. history. However, the strike could leave classes without instructors and halt a significant portion of research that takes place at UC campuses. UC President's Office spokesperson Ryan King told the Epoch Times that the university has reached agreements with the union regarding key issues like a respectful work environment and health and safety matters.
The Attorney General joined a coalition of 21 other AGs in an amicus brief against McDonald's. They say the fast food giant is attempting to evade liability for alleged past efforts to stifle competition through the use of no-poach agreements.
Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a legal brief with other state attorney generals on Thursday. The amicus, where an individual or group assists the court but does not get involved in a case, is opposing McDonald's attempt to evade liability for alleged unfair business practices in their no-poach agreement. No-poach provisions prevent franchise operators from hiring or recruiting the employees of another franchise operator. Bonta said no-poach agreements like those employed by McDonald's in this case stifle competition and directly undercut wages. A court previously rejected a class action antitrust lawsuit against McDonald's headed by former employees. The team of attorney generals say that the district court erroneously rejected the plaintiffs' claims.
Immigration agents in Mexico are set to begin checking documents of travelers heading into California. The pilot program, which began on Tuesday, is anticipated to speed up border crossings after the influx of asylum seekers.
On November 15th, Mexican immigration officers began checking travel documents of anyone trying to enter the United States through the car lanes of the Ysidro port of entry between San Diego and Tijuana before they get into the United States. The pilot program is hoping to speed up border crossings so agents with the United States Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, will have the ability to put more focus on travel lanes currently used by regular commuters between the United States and Mexico. Officials believe the program could be a model to decrease the amount of congestion at other ports of entry as well. Carlos Gonzalez Gutierrez, the Consul General of Mexico in San Diego, wrote on Twitter, "We're doing this for our own interest. It's in the interest of Mexico to organize the flows in an orderly way to reduce wait times." He goes on to say that the move is meant to protect Mexico's infrastructure to, quote, accelerate crossings and ensure the port of entry is used for what it should be used for. The program will run from Tuesday through January 15th, 2023.
The Irvine Unified School District was recognized for the 6th year in a row as the best district in California. This was based on results from last spring's standardized testing for districts of 35,000 or more students.
The Irvine Unified School District was recognized as the #1 district in California. This rating was determined by the state's student performance rating organization known as the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress. Students grades 3 through 8 and 11 at Irvine Unified outperformed the county and state average in math, science, English language arts, and literacy. The district superintendent Terry Walker said in a press release, "These results represent an unprecedented moment in time and are a reflection of our strong partnership with teachers, staff, students, and families." Walker said, "A student-centered approach to learning is key to the district's continued success." District spokeswoman Annie Brown told the Epoch Times that the teachers narrowed down which teaching methods work best for which student to, quote, better meet the needs of every child in the classroom. In response to the pandemic, the district provided additional academic and mental health support by implementing programs such as summer school and free online tutoring. To help students cope with daily stressors and have better focus, the district has set up designated relaxation rooms known as well spaces. Brown said the district prioritizes a balance between academics and students' mental well-being so that, quote, students are well-rounded, resilient, and resourceful learners who are able to perform at their highest levels to meet their academic and personal goals.
Now let's check in with NTD's Thomas Christian for today's Sports Roundup.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup. Terrence Davis amassed a game-high and season-best 31 points off the bench and teamed with Kevin Huerter for 12 of Sacramento's 23-pointers on Tuesday night, propelling the Kings to a 153-121 thrashing of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. Huerter finished with 19 points, Domantas Sabonis 17, Harrison Barnes 16, Malik Monk 15, De'Aaron Fox 14, and Trey Lyles 12. As the Kings won for the fourth straight game after a 3-6 start to the season. Their 153 points were the most scored by a Kings team since 154 against the Philadelphia 76ers in January of 1993, riding the momentum of a 122-115 home win over the defending champion Golden State Warriors on Sunday. The Kings led by 25 in the first half, and then led 115-82 by the third quarter's end. Kevin Durant was a one-man show in his 31 minutes for the Nets, who were still missing suspended Kyrie Irving. Durant outscored his closest teammate Edmund Sumner by 9 points and had 6 of Brooklyn's 25 assists and 4 of his 29 rebounds. Kings 153, Nets 121. Luka Doncic scored 35 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. Dorian Finney-Smith hit 7 three-pointers en route to 21 points, and Dallas outlasted the visiting Clippers. The Clippers went a blistering 23 of 32 from the floor in the second half and erased a 25-point deficit entirely when Nicholas Batum connected on a three-pointer with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game that gave the visitors an 89-87 lead. Los Angeles led inside of the 3-minute mark, but Finney-Smith knocked down one three-pointer and Reggie Bullock sank 2 on 3 straight Dallas possessions, turning a 3-point Clippers lead into a 6-point Mavericks advantage in just 91 seconds. Paul George led the Clippers with 23 points, but also committed 10 turnovers. Mavericks 103, Clippers 101. And over to the ice rink, Timo Meier scored the go-ahead goal with 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining, and Logan Couture and Mario Ferraro sealed it with empty net goals as San Jose won in Las Vegas. And Erik Karlsson and Alexander Barabanov each had 2 assists for San Jose, which has won 3 straight games for the first time since January 6th through 11th of last year. James Reimer stopped 24 shots for the Sharks, who defeated Vegas in regulation for just the second time in 25 regular season meetings. Sharks 5, Golden Knights 2. Ryan Strome scored with 50 seconds remaining in overtime after John Klingberg forced the extra period with a goal in the last minute of regulation as Anaheim beat visiting Detroit. Mason McTavish also scored for the Ducks, who ended their 3-game losing streak. John Gibson had 31 saves for Anaheim, which improved to 3-0 in overtime, but remained the only NHL team without a victory in regulation. Ducks 3, Red Wings 2 in overtime. And that's all for the sports.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.